it was college. I was playing in a big band, a big jazz band, and it was a program where people really worked hard to get into this program. And I remember, gosh, I was going through a lot that year, but I got kicked out. Probably the best thing to ever happen to me. My name's Joel. I'm a sound re-recording mixer. I mix sound for TV and film, been part of the sound industry for the past 15 years, here to help you get from point A to point B a lot quicker in your journey navigating the post-production sound industry. I was in the jazz band, and I remember I wasn't pulling my weight. They cut me. They cut me. I remember having a gig, and I think that was my last gig, was somewhere downtown. I was sort of devastated, but I kind of didn't care. At the time, my grandmother had just passed away, and I was really sad. I was really upset, and I was really like just questioning life and like, what am I doing? Like nothing matters right now. And I remember feeling rejected, feeling disappointed, also like I disappointed other people, not really knowing like what my next direction was going to be. But it was probably the best thing that happened to me, because what it did was it allowed me to reevaluate where I was as a musician. I knew that if I wanted to ever come back to that group, one, I was going to have to work my ass off. I was going to have to practice more than ever. And I was going to have to prove and show that I really belonged. It kind of really screwed up, you know, and wasn't pulling my weight. And the position that I was at, I really needed to be a leader. And I wasn't. Sometimes in life, we go through things, right? And we face stuff that seems way bigger. Sometimes we need a season to grieve, to handle life. But then we pick ourselves up. Then we say, okay, the fog clears, right? The skies become clear. And then we say, all right, it's time to get back to business. And that's what I did. I did do that. I practiced harder than I ever had. I worked, I put in the hours. And talk about putting hours in. You know, I talked about recently about, you know, how this industry doesn't have normal hours. Being a musician, you guys know, man, I cannot tell you how many hours I spent in a practice room playing long tones, you know, looking at my tuner, playing scales. That's a grind. So any musicians out there, you know what it is to get in a practice room and put on a metronome and practice, you know, practice for hours. I mean, in college, I just be there all day. Sometimes when we go through whatever we go through, we start back at step 0 and we start practicing our craft and just getting back into it and just getting back to it. I eventually made it back into that group, and it was one of the best lessons I've ever learned in my life. And I've used that moving forward in my career. And I pass it on to you too. And I tell you, you know, whatever you're working, if you're working towards a career in post-production sound or in music or any industry, know that you're going to face hard times. But you always get the opportunity to reset and say, okay, let me go back to square one. What do I need to pour myself into? You're going to be putting hours in. You're going to be putting your time in. You're going to be getting your reps. So sometimes a devastating event, like for me, getting kicked out of this esteemed jazz band, it was the best thing for me. It was that quick, swift kick in the butt that I needed to move on and help me be a better musician, a better person, and ultimately use that for my experiences moving forward in my career. Be sure to keep following this account for more tips and encouragement in post-production sound, industry, and life.